3 days ago, I turned 105 years old. This morning, I got up on my own, dressed on my own, and made my morning drink in the same kitchen I've stood in for 51 years. No nurse, no nursing home, no calling my children to come help me. My children are in their 80s now, so they'd be slow getting here anyway. But 25 years ago, not a single person in my family believed this morning would ever happen. Because back then, my blood sugar was stealing my future, 1 point at a time. If you're watching this, I'd wager somebody's worried about you. Maybe it's your doctor frowning at your blood work. Maybe it's your daughter asking too many questions about what you're putting in your body. Or maybe it's you lying awake at 3 a.m, doing arithmetic on how many independent years you got left. I know that arithmetic. I did it every single night for a year. At 80 years old, my fasting sugar sat near 180. My doctor sat me down and gave me the usual advice. Cut the carbs, cut the sweets, cut everything that made life feel normal. But what actually turned my numbers around was something completely different. It wasn't complicated recipes or expensive supplements. It was one simple drink. One drink that I discovered by accident that my doctor couldn't quite explain, but that changed everything about how my body worked. I'll tell you exactly what it is, how I make it, and why I still drink it every single morning at 1:05. My doctor drew me a picture one afternoon that changed how I understood my body. He used the back of my lab report. Think of the sugar in your blood as people standing in the aisle at church, and think of insulin as the usher. The usher's job is to walk each person out of the aisle and into a seat. The aisle is your bloodstream. The seats are your cells, where sugar gets used for energy. But after years of big meals and big spikes, the folks in the pews stop sliding over. The usher works harder and harder, and the aisle stays jammed. That jammed aisle is the number on your meter. This is called insulin resistance. Your pancreas, that little organ that makes insulin, keeps sending out more and more ushers. The crowd backs up, your number climbs. That was me. That was my 180. For 50 years, I drank what my generation was told was healthy. Orange juice in the morning because juice was supposed to be good for you. Coffee with cream and sugar. Tea with honey. Sweet iced tea in the summer. I might as well have been drinking dessert from a glass. Every sip marched a crowd straight into my aisle before I'd even finished my breakfast. By 10 o'clock I was shaky, cranky, and hunting for snacks. My doctor said most people ride that blood sugar roller coaster for so long, they think it's just getting old. But it isn't. And then he told me something that surprised me. He said the most powerful tool for settling that crowd wasn't a pill. It was something I could drink. Something that worked with my body instead of against it. He gave me one simple instruction. Try this drink for 2 weeks and tell me what happens. The drink he recommended was apple cider vinegar water. 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in a full glass of water, 10 to 15 minutes before my biggest meal of the day. That was it. No fancy ingredients, no prescription. Just apple cider vinegar and water from my tap. I was skeptical. I'll admit that. How could something so simple do anything at all? But I was also desperate. I was 80 years old and tired of feeling tired. I made it exactly as he told me. I drank it before supper because that was when my blood sugar climbed the highest, when I'd eat my largest meal. The second morning, Something shifted. It was subtle. My hands weren't shaking like they usually did. I felt steadier. By the end of that first week, I checked my meter out of habit, and I actually sat down. The number wasn't perfect, but for the first time in years, it was moving my way. Not the same, different, better. I couldn't believe something so ordinary could work. My doctor explained it to me in simple terms. The sour part of the vinegar slows down how fast your stomach empties food into your bloodstream. That means sugar trickles in slowly instead of flooding the aisle all at once. It also helps your muscles pull sugar out of your blood and burn it for fuel. Your body starts working the way it's supposed to work. But here's what matters. I had to do it right. Never drink vinegar straight. It's cruel to your tooth enamel and your throat. Always use it in water. And if you take blood sugar medication, you have to tell your doctor immediately, because this drink stacks on top of your medicine, and together they can pull you too low. I brought the whole plan to my doctor and let him watch my numbers. After the vinegar worked, my doctor added 2 more drinks to my routine. He called it the 3-drink system: morning, midday, and before the biggest meal. 3 different beverages, 3 different jobs. For my morning drink, he recommended fenugreek tea, little amber seeds from the spice aisle, soaked overnight in hot water. In the morning, I'd strain it and drink it slowly before breakfast. That bitter tea does something remarkable. The fiber in those seeds swells into a thick gel inside your stomach. It's like putting a gentle slowdown on everything you eat that day. Your first meal doesn't spike your sugar. That means your lunch comes in gentler too. He calls it the second drink effect. My midday drink was green tea. Plain green tea with lemon, no sugar, no cream. Just the tea itself. Green tea carries plant compounds that my doctor said help your cells listen better to insulin. It's like turning up the volume on the usher so the pews can actually hear him. I started having a cup around 11 in the morning, and it became my quiet moment before lunch. A little ritual that settled my whole afternoon. Then came the evening drink, the apple cider vinegar water before my biggest meal. That one stayed my anchor. By week 4, my doctor checked my numbers again. They were dropping steadily, not dramatically, steadily, like a staircase going down instead of bouncing all over the place. He said I could reduce my medication, 1 pill less. Then by month 3, the second pill came off the table entirely. I still drink all 3 every single day. I'm 105 now. My numbers stay stable. My doctor's son checks me twice a year, and he always shakes his head and smiles. 3 drinks. That's the whole thing. 3 ordinary drinks that cost less than a Sunday paper. Now, I promised you something that doctors can't explain, and I want to be honest about what this is and isn't. I can't hand you a study that proves what I'm about to tell you. It isn't a prescription. It's what 85 years of living taught me. But I've watched plenty of people drink right and still struggle. And I've spent 25 years wondering why some of us thrive and some of us fade. Here's what I believe. The drinks matter. The vinegar, the fenugreek, the green tea. They all do real work in your body. You can measure it on a meter, but something else is happening too, something quieter. My sister Ruth had the same problem I did, same family history, same blood sugar trouble. I told her about the drinks. She said they sounded like nonsense and went back to her sweet tea and lemonade. Ruth's feet started to feel numb. Then her eyes went. Then everything else followed. She spent her last years in a facility hallway that smelled like disinfectant. Ruth raised 4 children and canned 100 quarts of tomatoes every August. At the end, she rang a little bell for someone to bring her tea. The difference between Ruth and me wasn't just the drinks. It was something else I can't prove, but I felt deeply. It was faith. It was purpose. It was letting go of the fear that held me at 3 a.m. Fear is hard on the body. My own doctor told me worry pours out stress hormones called cortisol, and stress hormones push sugar up. The year my numbers got bad, I stewed every night. I was afraid of becoming like Ruth. When I started drinking the vinegar water and the fenugreek tea, something shifted in me besides my blood sugar. I stopped being afraid. I had a plan. I had something I could do. That peace, that sense of purpose. I think that matters as much as the drink itself. Here's what I know for certain. 30 years ago, if you'd told me I'd be standing in my own kitchen at 1:05, making my own breakfast, I would have laughed. But here I am. Not because my body skipped old age. It didn't. But because every single morning there's a drink that works with me instead of against me. A fear I know where to set down. And people who'd notice by noon if my kitchen light didn't come on. The drinks are just the beginning. After the vinegar came the fenugreek tea, then the green tea. Each one simple, each one cheap, each one something I could do myself, standing in my own kitchen, taking control of my own health, instead of waiting for someone else to fix me. But the real reason I'm not in a hallway like Ruth is bigger than any drink. It's because I had a reason to stay strong. Purpose gets you out of bed. Out of bed gets you moving. Moving, drinking real tea, taking time with your health, and sleeping like a person with a clean heart. That's the whole engine. If you try the vinegar drink tonight, come back and tell me what your meter says. If you watch your numbers improve, teach somebody else. That's how this spreads. Not through some miracle, but through one person at a time deciding they've got somewhere to be. I'm 105 and I'm still collecting reasons to be here. My children are in their 80s. My grandchildren call to ask what I'm drinking now. That's reason enough. That's everything. Tomorrow I'll make my 3 drinks again. The fenugreek tea in the morning, the green tea at midday, the apple cider vinegar water before supper. And I'll be grateful for another day in my own kitchen, using my own hands, living my own life.